Welcome to the 5th York Civic Trust public speaking competition. The aim of the Education Committee of the York Civic Trust is to help our young people to become aware of this wonderful city. And our judges are Councillor Janet Looker, Keith Hayton, who was head of Fulford School, and we have Darryl Buttery, who is a very important person in the Observe and Mace competition. This small obelisk in English oak stands alone with dignity, and unlike a shield, needs no support or wall on which to display it. Who will win it tonight, I wonder?
Okay, let's get a move on. We haven't got long.
Oh, that art gallery looks nice.
No time for that.
Oh, the York Minster. Can we go inside?
No, only pictures.
What? Well, I've only been here 2 hours.
I know, but we need to get to Harrogate's. Group of tourists, stop off here on the way to somewhere else, walk around town for no more than 2 hours, and then say, "Oh, York, been there, done that," to all their friends.
But we think that you probably need to stay at least a night or two to get the full experience of York. You probably need to set a whole day aside to go to the Castle Museum, let alone 2 measly hours, not to mention the York Dungeon, the Jorvik Centre, the Minster.
And the York chocolate story. Not only do you get to see how chocolate is made, but you get to make and taste your own chocolate. Even if it is horseradish and chilli flavour at Halloween.
Really?
And, of course, who could forget the York Dungeons? I remember it and I haven't even been there.
You haven't done the York Dungeons?
Nope.
One of the main attractions in York?
Nope.
York has the rather gruesome honour of being the city with the most spectral inhabitants in the entirety of Europe. Pretty much every street within the walls has some sort of ghost, spirit or poltergeist that inhabits one of its buildings.
It is 1953. Harry Martindale, local heating technician apprentice, is left to do some late night work in the cellar of the treasurer's house.
Suddenly, a Roman soldier appears through the wall, visibly only from the knees up as the rest of his legs appear to be in the ground.
Harry was so shocked by what he saw, he took 2 weeks' leave off work and didn't tell his full story until the 70s, and York's most famous ghost story was born.
We think a lot of research would be needed to work out what you can do in York without rushing in 2 hours.
Certainly. After all, if you're a tourist visiting anywhere, you want to have an enjoyable time. I wouldn't want to visit a place as interesting as York is, but then have to rush, resulting in stress, resulting in the overall experience being a bad one. And as for craft shops, well, forget them. You need 2 hours in Duttons for buttons at least. These are all shops that you just wouldn't really find anywhere else. York is very unique in that respect, and you're not going to find any products like those shops produce in M&S.
And if you do go shopping in M&S, you're not really supporting York's economy or its individual shops. York has an extremely rich history as well, which comes along with beautiful historic architecture, which survives to this day, as York wasn't really an important target in world wars.
So in conclusion, if you only come for 2 hours, you're going to get the wrong impression of York.
So, against everyone's expectations, 2 hours in York is a waste of time.
Did chocolate or the railway have a greater impact on York?
As we all know, York is a beautiful city with stunning architecture and history around every corner.
Take a Kit Kat, originally made and produced in York, now sold worldwide to millions. You can go into any supermarket around the world and find this familiar red and white wrapper. People love it. People trust it. You know what you're getting with a Kit Kat, whether you're in San Francisco or Selby.
But it's just a wafer biscuit, smothered in chocolate.
No, it's not.
What is it then?
Look. In the first finger, there are jobs, initially building the enormous factory, making the chocolate, advertising it, marketing it, and delivering it to chocoholics all over the globe. This has allowed many families to settle and thrive in York since 1862.
On the other hand, the income from the railway provided enough money to have the city rejuvenated, including a new station being built. This helped York to host tourists from all over the country who wanted to see the beautiful historical city and all of its wonderful attractions.
The railway has influenced York, but the chocolate industry didn't just create jobs and trade like the railway did. It created a caring community that is still thriving today. So if you look deeply into the history of York, this sweet, delightful treat is what shaped York to be what it is.
So what would York be without its chocolates?
An empty wrapper.
"2 hours in York is such a waste of time." 2 hours in York is a waste of time.
Well, yeah, I've lived here all my life, and I'm sure I know everything there is to know about York.
But there was always so much stuff to do and discover in York.
Like what?
Cast your eyes upwards. York may be flat, but one thing dominates the skyline: the Minster.
Really? Why would I want to go to the Minster? I walk past it nearly every day. It's just a big, grey stone building. It's dull. Visiting it really would be a waste of time.
The Minster isn't dull. There are loads of amazing things to discover.
Such as...
Well, for a start, did you know that the Minster is the largest Gothic cathedral in Northern Europe? We could climb all 275 steps to the very top. The view is fantastic. On a good day, you can see as far as the White Horse on the North York Moors. You can even see the coast when it's clear.
But it's raining.
That doesn't matter. There's loads of stuff to do inside as well.
Such as?
We can stop off at one of my favourite York attractions. Time spent there is never a waste of time. The Castle Museum is a social history time tunnel that will actually save us time, as it takes us back through 300 years of life in the city. We can even wander down a real Victorian street. Oh, and we can visit the debtor's prison and imagine Dick Turpin's last night as a condemned highwayman.
Okay, you've convinced me. But, Verity, just the thought of all that walking is making me feel tired.
I know what you need, an energy boost. And what better to eat than chocolate? After all, York is practically the home of chocolate. Chocolate is to York what rhubarb is to Wakefield or licorice is to Pontefract.
I love York Cocoa House, Monkbad Chocolatiers, Choco Fair. Have we got time to fit in a visit?
Well, Millie, like I told you at the beginning, 2 hours in York is never a waste of time. In fact, it's simply not enough time.
First of all, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to speak directly to our young people tonight and say the judges thought that you gave us an outstandingly entertaining and stimulating evening, and we're very grateful to you for that. I'll just say one more thing, that if you want to know what we were looking for, what qualities we were looking for, then the winners had every single one of those qualities in abundance. So that will, I think, for future debates too, be the way that we're thinking of judging. The winner really did carry the day.
I did think our winners were exceptionally good, and I did have my finger on them as winners because of the way that they worked together as a team to present that. I thought it was funny, I was laughing along, and I enjoyed that very much. But many of the other speakers, I really enjoyed their pieces as well. I think perhaps particularly when you work together to create that dialogue between you.